Good day, everyone. I hope it's a good morning for you all. Then please send that back to me as well. All right, we'll keep those vibes because I think the four people who are going to get up here are coming in with the best energy that we have in the industry. And it's my honor to first introduce the lady. So here it is. One of the few gems and jewelry industry expert from mining, manufacturing, jewelry making, grading, marketing, with a track record of successfully establishing and managing organizations with strong focus on ethics, cost management, strategizing, marketing, collaborating with stakeholders across the global locations. I think I don't need to go into deep because with this much you must have already guessed who I'm talking about. The one woman comes with all the power, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear it for the consultant and the best in the industry, Ms. Nirupa Bhatt. My honor to introduce you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Please take a seat. Joining us, we have a gentleman with the last 28 years of marketing gem and jewelry. He has introduced some of the most successful brands of Indian diamond jewelry industry, namely super brands like Nakshatra, Asmi, Arisia, Sangini, and Anant. Nakshatra created a major revolution in the industry and opened diamonds as a category in the minds of Indian women, because I'm a firm believer of that as well. Most importantly, he has a track record of innovation, clear strategic thinking, meticulously planning, and knack for building businesses and brands in tune with the future. He had a 3-year run as a co-chairman FICCI, Gem and Jewelry Sector, and is currently the member of the CII Task Force. The industry has immensely benefited from his wealth of knowledge and expertise, and he's here to share with us as well. So let's hear it for former business director, DSP of De Beers, and a strategist in the industry expert, Dr. Prasad Kapre. Thank you. Well, I think this would be someone needing no introduction, but yet I'll take this opportunity to say at least a line or two. Owing a family business, Shri Vaman Hari Pete Jewellers. With that, I think you already guess who I'm going to be talking about. But yes, we have him here in our midst, the gentleman who has proved worthy of being here to share his knowledge. The immediate past chairman of All India Gem and Jewelry Domestic Council, Mr. Ashish Pete. Last but not the least, let's come to the one who again joined his family business in 2012, right from having completed his bachelor's degree in management in Singapore. Finally, while he took up family business, he was given the job to go all across 4 states in the south of India, where they owned a predominant business. There's where he understood pulse of the market, people, product, and also gave him an insight into challenges that the team regularly faces while traveling with goods in relation to paperwork, safety, and cost to company. Eventually, he started to oversee all the departments of the company as well. But his forte, he says, lies in design. He has a team of dedicated house designers and karigars who transform his ideas into real-time pieces. Wanting to take his company to the newest heights with focusing on constant innovation, automation of operations is the way to the future. This is what he foresees. And all his efforts are moving towards that direction, giving us the same direction and lead. Right here, we are so pleased to have in our midst Director, Whitefire Diamonds India Private Limited, Mr. Karan Bothra. Thank you all for joining us here today, and I'm going to hand over to you, Nirupa ma'am, because I think you'll be the best to take it from here, and the rest of you, I think what's going to follow next in this session is something that you're really looking forward to. So all the very best to you all.
Thank you so much. Namaskar, everyone. I'm so pleased to be here with the a range of experience and thoughts and how they see the future from very young Karan to very experienced and veteran Prasad. How many of you sitting here are retailers? And the others are manufacturers? Great. So I think it's great to have this mix of in the audience of manufacturers and retailers. So we are going to talk about the retail. So I have not yet been able to decide whether retail is an art or a science. Because retailing, because retailing, artistic science. So I like that definition. But retailing is a specialized business by itself. अगर आप retail जानते हो, तो you can sell jewelry, you can sell apparel. You should know what is most important in retailing. To be able to connect with the consumers, to be able to connect with your customers, which is true in all businesses. But in retailing, it's most challenging because your customer base, consumer base is so vast. If you do B2B, you know what your customer base is. You can limit it. You can have 10, 50, 100, 300 customers. But when it comes to B2C, it's really, really very vast and it's very challenging. Mr. Ashish Pete is already saying. So I think it's really a challenging business to be in, to be able to retail very, very successfully. And the retailers have to continuously adapt, of course, manufacturers as well, but the retailers have to be very, very nimble because they connect with the consumers almost on a day-to-day basis. And how the chain goes back and how are they able to communicate and how are they supported by manufacturers really shapes our industry. Because at the end of the day, we all have to work together to make sure that we are able to satisfy consumers and are able to bring more and more consumers. And that's what we want to try and discuss some of the points. I have a couple of questions to the panelists, and I would like it more to be a interactive session, so please feel free to ask questions as well. If I can start with Karan, who joined his family business. So when he joined his family business, his father, his family, uncle, they were doing business in a certain way. After your joining, have you really changed anything? If yes, what? Is it, as far as, because you are a wholesaler, you reach out to the retailers, are they expecting different things from you, the way you communicate and present products to them, or what? How have you changed?
Firstly, very good afternoon to everybody here, and it's my pleasure to be a part of a panel where names like Mr. Ashish and Mr. Prasad are present, and Ms. Nirupa. So I mean, I'm way too young to be here and trying to talk anything, but just trying to give my two cents here. So, like ma'am's mentioned, have I tried to change anything? The idea is if I try to change too much, I don't know if it's going to be good, bad, but that's the risk that you need to take. So it's more or less like a calculated risk that we are taking. But the methodology of business that my dad has taught me, the way the business has been running and the way he has been doing business with his with his clients, which are the retailers, and is something that has got them this far. And this is something that even I would like to take it ahead. And the changes that I would bring, the changes that I got to my organization were trying to bring in technology, trying to bring in rapid use of resources available to us at any given point of time. Try to take the burden off my dad and my uncle, whoever oversees whichever department in any possible way, which could be getting designs, getting better designs, or trying to evolve on terms of product. Now, when you say on terms of product, we all know when we started back in, I mean, not back in whatever, but when, say, 10 years back, the basic kadi in your in the jewelry, right? Like, I think Mr. Ashish would know this. When you have a necklace or a changeable part of a product, the end bit is not soldered. So today, if you go to any retailer, let it be even a small store or let it be even the biggest of the biggest store, they're not going to accept your product without that 0.1 milligram of gold metal over there. So this particular thing was never a big thing back then. So these kind of things is what I learn. I take my inputs from people like Ashish, Mr. Ashish, and other retailers, where they tell me, like, this is what the client has had a problem with last time. So this I should be taking care in my next collection onwards. So this is something that I communicate with my factory and my dad, so that we can collectively bring out something that the retailers can benefit out from.
So what you are saying is the communication between you and the retailers, is it much more than what it was in the past?
Effective communication.
Oh, okay.
Yes, effective communication, because just communicating something is not important, right? It needs to be put into action. It needs to be out there. Like, let's say Mr. Ashish is coming to me and then he's trying to say something like, ye particular designs achhe chal rahe hain, and this and that. So I need to build on what is actually working well for him, not what is working well for me. So I would like to, next show when I come down, I would make sure, like, his purchase from me is 1.5x more than what it was last time. So the idea is to obviously try to do more business so that it benefits him and he can sell more and he can come back to me and tell me, okay, wow, this was doing good and I would like to buy more of this.
Thanks, Karan. So Karan just spoke about what do retailers ask him and what are their preferences. And my guess is that the retailers are being driven by the consumer preferences. I have a question, Prasad. What about social media? How is the social media being used to understand or drive and how is that influencing the retailers?
Good afternoon. Well, actually, there is a whole lot of shift which has been happening over the years. And especially if you really look at 75 years of India's independence, and the way the consumers have changed, I think retailers also need to make that shift. I mean, you look at the Industrial Revolution right from 47, 48 onwards, which went on till the early or mid 80s. That was the Industrial Revolution, where India was at that point in time was seen as a poor country, and people just took up jobs just for the survival's sake. It was literally like that. Then came the internet or the information technology revolution, where the consumers actually then believed in standard of living. So there was a clear shift between the consumers' thinking. And today, post 2000, is all the digital revolution, which is a bigger shift, which is where the today's generation believes in quality of living or joy of living. So it's no more a standard of living. It's not about just, mere paas ek ghar hai, mere paas gaadi hai, so, I'm happy with life. Here, they want to experience life in today's generation. So it's not about asset heavy anymore. So that's where we as jewelers and as retailers, we have to keep thinking of how to innovate and make them wear our jewelry, because otherwise it's all about minimalistic trends and that's what they believe in. Because they want to experience everything and anything. So whether it's, so in fact, they don't even want to buy a house anymore. They are happy shifting from one country to the other, and which was never happening earlier. And this is something which is a shift which is happening very clearly world over, so it's not just about India. And that's where today's generation has moved to the digital world, whereas we as retailers are still into the physical world. And I think that's a clear shift that we definitely need to make. And that's where the social digital media actually comes in handy. So it's not about, just getting into influencers or just getting your e-commerce set. And first of all, you have to be, as I call it, O2O, which is online to offline and offline to online. It has to be in sync with each other. That's what is omni-channel all about. So when I say it's all about, in sync with each other, is basically everything has to happen in real time. So if I have bought something from the net, from your e-commerce website, it should immediately, from my stock, it should say it's not available or sold out, even in your store. And similarly, if you're using any other digital channel. And there are plethora of these digital channels which have come in now, whether it's even WhatsApp selling or Instagram selling. So you can actually shop from Instagram, which is already hitting the world at the moment. It will soon be hitting India as well. And similarly, even WhatsApp selling has become a huge thing. So people believe in buying on digital world. And even if right now it's minuscule, I know that you may turn around and say it's hardly 5% of the total sales, but that's going to be the future. So we have to be future ready. So because today's consumer also believes in wealth creation, whereas we as retailers are still into the old world charm of operating profits. So we are happy, by is saal mera profit bana ki nahi, whether I'm in red or in black, and I'm happy with that. So it's not about, you made 5% profit in the entire year. It's about guys like CaratLane or even Tanishq for that matter. It's the value creation. And that's where the world is moving. So that's, if at all you have to do that, you have to get into the consumer's mind. And this is where, I always say that 54% of today's India is less than 25 years of age, who are going to be our future clients, right? And what it technically means is that those who are born, who are going to be our clients today or in the next 10 years, are actually born post-2000. Okay, their thinking is completely different. Whereas we as retailers are all born before 2000, right? And that's where the disconnect is. And that mindset has to change. From the physical world, you have to move to the digital world. And from just your operating profits, you have to move to the wealth creation. And all that will only happen when you have a presence on omni-channel, only when actually maybe Mihir gets onto the saddle. Ashish bhai, you'll have to get your son back onto the saddle, because perhaps the younger generation would be able to relate to today's consumer or the future consumers. So it's time that we all start actually giving out the reins to the younger audience, purely from this perspective, because that's what is going to happen in the future. So that's what my take is.
I remember we used to talk about, or when we used to talk about generation gap. In the earlier days, before maybe 20, 30 years, हम सोचे थे 20 साल है तो generation gap है. शायद वो भी बहुत कम, धीरे-धीरे कम होते जा रहा है. So I think a challenge for someone like yourself, Ashish, is that you've been in business for what, 100 years now? Your family?
115 years.
115. I think with that legacy, you have a great customer base who are very traditional. वो उनके parents के साथ, in the younger generation, parents, grandparents, family, wedding के jewelry के लिए जब ये आते हैं, I think someone like you, how do you really meet? घर में क्या करते हैं वो मैं नहीं पूछ रही हूँ आपको, मगर consumers जब ये आपके पास आते हैं, ये 3 age group के और 2 age group के, how do you really? It's a huge challenge because उनका thinking बहुत अलग है. I think as Prasad just mentioned.
Good afternoon, everyone, and the panel. Thank you for having me here today to learn from all of you. Actually, it is interesting when you have a company which is 100 or 120 years old. It works, it cuts both ways. You have a benefit of a platform which is already there, and you can just build on it. But the company's image or the way it is built is already cast, and you cannot easily change it. People's expectations, their understanding of your brand is already fixed. WHP matlab ye. And what I have seen in last 25-30 years is जैसे gold का price था पहले, that for many days the rates would never change. 3,500 का rate it will be there for a couple of days, and after 10 days maybe 50 rupees, 5 rupees plus minus. Similarly, the consumers also used to be the same. एक generation would shop with us, their younger generation would come with them, and they would accept that this is what happens. For wedding purchase, as a family, we have to go to a particular jeweler. I'm not talking about just our company, but you go to a particular family jeweler and you check with the family jeweler, and whatever he suggests you, you buy. That was there for many years. And as Prasad said, from 1990, when the liberalization happened, a lot of things changes. And people got exposed to a lot of other things. So what was an advantage of a 100-year-old company sometimes became a disadvantage. ये पुराना कंपनी है, कैन बी पुराना कंपनी है कि ये पुराना कंपनी है. They are old, उनका thinking old है. So the first challenge that I had was to make sure that Purana becomes valuable. So we did a research and understood what is it that is attached to our brand. Many times what Prasad also said, that you go digital or how you market your brand. What most of the retailers miss is to understand why customers are coming to you. We look at it inside out कि मेरे पास ये माल है, ऐसा माल है, मैं कुंदन का रखता हूँ, मेरा चेन का मेकिंग चार्जेस इतना है. सो दैट इज़ इनसाइड आउट. आप आपकी तरफ से देख रहे हो कि मैं क्या ऑफर कर रहा हूँ, बट देयर कैन बी अ डिस्कनेक्ट व्हाई अ कस्टमर इज कमिंग टू यू. You may be offering the best price, but the customer is coming because he trusts you. Or you feel that I am best trustworthy jeweler, but customer wants good designs. So understanding what your customer wants from you and why he is coming to you, we need to build. That was the easier part. But as Prasad said that, and as you said, the generation gap is reducing. पहले क्या था, 10 साल में consumers का thinking में change आता था. Now it is almost like 2 years. Every 2 years there is some new trend coming. Every 2 years there is some new design coming up with, and even in digital the speed of change is faster. पहले फेसबुक में था, एक फ़ोटो देखते थे, स्लोली स्क्रॉल होता था. अभी इंस्टाग्राम में तो यार आउट. अब फटाफट हाउ डू यू कैच someone's eye. So the speed of change in your consumer has increased. So as a retailer, as you said, we have 4 to 5 generations of customers. We have 3 generations of team members. We have 3 generations of vendors generations. And we have 3 to 4 generations of customers. So we have that longevity, but suddenly in last 10, 15 years, the whole economic scenario, exposure to other things from our consumers has changed. So it has become a big challenge to keep up with them, understand what they expect from us, and then mold your offering according to that. So I think the speed of change in consumers' mindset is the toughest part as of now. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashish. As you just mentioned about how quickly the change is coming in or you are seeing. And the question is, how do you capture it and use that information? But one has to collect that information, which is data. And so how do you really collect the data and use it so that you remain relevant and you are able to adapt? So Karan, in your business of working with the retailers, do you collect data? How important and relevant is data collection? Do you analyze it? And how can it really help the manufacturers?
So, to be very honest, in terms of data collection or data reconciliation, our industry as a whole is actually a step behind to how the markets in the US or European brands or any luxury brand would work. In India, we haven't given so much importance to data. I mean, at least in the last 5 years is where majority of the people have started giving importance to data. But had we done that previously, we would be a far more different kind of a business today, like any business would, for that matter. For me per se, our company as such, we deal with a limited number of retailers because end of the day, we don't have like thousands and thousands of retailers. So we have about 100 to 200 retailers that we deal with. So their feedback is very important to us. What products they have purchased, what type of product they have purchased, what weight mechanisms they have purchased, what value they have purchased is the kind of data that we deal in. So post-show, normally what we do is we have an internal meeting and we discuss what kind of products have been sold this IAJS, this show, and what kind of products are our clients expecting from us. And it is our responsibility to give them better products every time so they can show better products to their clients and in turn come back to us. So it's all a cycle, right? So this definitely is going to matter a lot in the future, the kind of stuff, what we make.